Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Body Armor 4x4 e-Power electric running board steps fitting 2019 and newer Silverado and Sierra 1500 crew cabs. If you want a set of side steps but you don't want it to look like your truck is sporting a pair, then Power running boards are for you. And these e-Power electric running boards from Body Armor 4x4 are some of the most affordable ones in the category. They have a ton of good features packed into a strong and affordable setup, so if you want the convenience of electric power steps but you don't want to spend a ton of money, stick around because I think you're going to like these. Now, side steps are one of the most popular modifications that trunk owners make to their vehicles. We get a ton of them through the doors here, and we've handled our fair share of power steps as well. With these, you get all the benefits of having a nice, wide traditional running board, but when they aren't in use, they're gonna fold away and look like there's almost nothing on your truck. Now, that means a couple of things. First of all, it means that your ground clearance isn't gonna be affected as much as it would with a traditional side step or running board. When they're retracted, these are gonna cover your rocker panels as well, meaning that if you are out hitting the trail, not only are you gonna have the extra clearance that you need, but they're gonna provide you with a little bit of extra protection too, so these will take the hit instead of your rocker panels. Now onto the steps themselves. These are 6 inches wide from end to end, so there's no tapering here. And like a traditional running board, they run the full wheelbase of your truck. So you get plenty of access to the cabin or even the roof and the forward part of the bed space should you need it. Each step is actually pretty light, but they do have a 600-pound weight capacity each, so they can handle pretty much anything you could think to throw at them. Now each board is powered by 2 motors. I've got one here on the table so you can take a look at it, and these are going to deploy almost immediately upon you opening the door. So as soon as you start to pull in the door, as soon as you've got that moved even a little bit, it's gonna open the circuit, they're gonna drop down. Rest assured, you are not gonna beat these even if you open that door super duper fast. By the time you've got it opened even just a little bit, the boards are gonna be down in their lower position, ready for you to use them. And when you close the door, they're gonna automatically retract as well. However, you might be thinking sometimes you might want to keep those steps down even when the doors are all closed. Now, I myself am a little vertically challenged, so I will often use the running boards on my own truck to reach the roof if I'm washing it. And thankfully, Body Armor has thought of that because there's a manual override switch included. So you can mount this inside of your truck, just flick it on, and these are gonna stay down. So if you want to keep them down for whatever reason, just hit that switch, they're gonna stay in the lower position. These also have a built-in auto safe stop feature. So if the boards detect an obstruction when they're deploying, they're automatically gonna stop, so it's not gonna cause any damage to the boards themselves or to your truck. Now these also feature integrated LEDs, so they're gonna help illuminate the ground and the stepping surface, making it safe and easy for you to access your truck no matter what conditions you may encounter. Now all that, but they also feature a no-drill installation and a nice manufacturer warranty, but we'll talk about both of those things more in a few moments. And the boards themselves are made from high-grade aluminum that's been powder coated for additional protection and good looks. So you can see they've got this nice kind of matte black powder coat over top of it. Now the kit also comes with all the needed hardware, bracketry, electronics, and wiring that you need to get everything installed easily. Now all the components here carry an IP67 waterproof rating, plus they come with a 1-year electrical and 2-year mechanical warranty against any defects in workmanship or materials. So they're covered and you can use them as you see fit without any worries. Pricing comes in at about $1,200, which makes these one of the most affordable ways to get a set of power side steps for your truck. And you're really not sacrificing anything in terms of materials, build quality, or features either. Now, I'm a big fan of these sorts of things, and not just for the showmanship they add to your truck. They're genuinely helpful and practical, plus they keep that sleek look intact. It's really the best of both worlds, provided of course that you're willing to shell out the cash. As far as installation goes, we're gonna give these a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 3 hours to complete. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, these do feature a no-drill installation, so you don't have to add any holes to your truck, and they come with all the bracketry and hardware that you need to get them installed. However, as you might expect, and as you might even be able to see here, there is some wiring that you're gonna need to complete. But everything comes right out of the box, ready to plug in or bolt on. Pretty much everything is set and ready to go for you, with the exception of a few connectors. So grab a drink, grab a friend, roll up your sleeves, and set aside some time to get this one done. But don't worry, it's not gonna be too super complicated. You can also follow along with us right now because we're gonna head out to the shop and we're gonna walk you through the process.
For this install, you will need various ratchets, a small extension, various 10mm sockets, 13mm socket, 5mm Allen head socket, 10mm wrench, a flathead screwdriver, and a pair of angle cutters. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing some running boards on our Sierra, so let's get started. Alrighty guys, so we're going to start off by getting our harness routed and everything in place. It's just going to be easier to show you for demonstration purposes. So we've got our harness here, these are our battery cables. The first thing we're going to do is pull our fuses out of the fuse holders. That's going to protect our circuits while we get everything hooked up so nothing's live while we're trying to plug stuff in and do all that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go right under the back of the wheel well here, and we're going to send these up behind the fender liner and up into the engine bay, into the battery. We'll get those hooked up and then we'll show you how to route the rest of your harness. So we're right behind our front wheel here, and if you're under here you'll be able to see there's light up into the engine bay right behind your fender liner. So that's where we're going to send our positive and negative connections for our battery. And we're going to get as much of this up in here as possible. Now we can go up into our engine bay and grab it and pull it up through. So now we've come to our engine bay here behind our battery, and we're going to reach down, grab our harness here, go ahead and pull that up. So now we can lay that across here, and we're going to need to go ahead and pop this cover off the positive terminal of our battery. So we got our two little tabs here, we'll push those in, pull that up out of the way. Make sure we have a hold of that. And what we're going to do is hook our positive and negative terminals up. Now again, make sure you pull the fuses out of these so your circuits are not live while we're doing any of this. So what we're going to do is go ahead and hook our positive terminal up first. We're going to come over here to this lug, grab our 13 mil socket on our ratchet and pop this nut off. Go ahead and hook our positive terminal up. Just gonna lay this in here out of the way of everything else. We'll go ahead and reinstall our nut. Then we'll go ahead and install our negative. So we're gonna remove this lug here with our 10 mil socket on our ratchet. Go ahead and install our negative terminal and reinstall that nut. And tighten that back down. We'll go ahead and bring our positive cable up through here. This is going to make it easier to reinstall our cover. So now we've come into the passenger side cab of our truck. We're going to go ahead and remove this kick panel as well as our sill panel first, so we can pull back our carpet and access the grommet that we need to, so we can feed our harness up through. So we'll go ahead and grab the back of this panel, pop this up out. So once that one's loose, we'll go ahead and start working on our sill panel here. Just pop that right up and out. Go ahead and set that aside. So now we'll go ahead and use our flathead screwdriver to work the seal off of this grommet. We'll go ahead and give it a little persuasion from the bottom here. And we'll go ahead and work this grommet out. So we've got that popped out. According to the instructions on your kit, you are going to be passing the white signal wire, the brown signal wire, and the switch plug up through this grommet so that the white wire and the switch plug can go across inside the truck. However, these new vehicles, it's very tight in there to get through the center console. We're going to show you a solid workaround that goes under the vehicle that will not damage or compromise your wiring in any way. It makes this a much easier process. You can follow the instructions and do it as the kit says. However, we're just going to show you a much easier, simpler alternative. So all we're going to be passing through this grommet here is our brown signal wire. So we'll come underneath the truck, pass that up through into the cab, and then we can go ahead and start wiring in our switches on this side. So now we'll go ahead and send our brown signal wire up through our grommet. We'll go ahead and pull that through. And we can go ahead and put our grommet back in place. Okay. Now that we have our brown signal wire run, we can go ahead and run our magnet switches for our doors. So what we're going to need to do is remove our lower seat belt panel here, and we're also going to need to remove this trim panel here on our seat. And it's also very helpful to move your seat all the way forward and lean it forward for this process. So we'll go ahead and pop this panel off first. Go ahead and just give that a pull. Pop that off. Now once we have the front part of the panel loose, we have to come back here to our back seat and go ahead and pop our rear kick panel off. Just give that a pull up. And that's going to give us access to our seat belt panel. So we'll give this another pull upwards and outwards. Go ahead and release our clips back here. Move our floor mats out of the way. So now that we have our lower panel released, we'll go ahead and release our upper panel too. And this is just going to give us enough room to push our panels back to access what we need to access in the B pillar here, or C pillar rather. Go ahead and pop that off. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So now what we're gonna do is go behind this panel here, and it's very hard to see on camera, but there is a ground strap there with a 10mm nut on it. So we're gonna loosen that up with our 10mm wrench and install our prong style ground connector here for our magnet switches for our doors. So we'll loosen that up, install this, tighten it back down, then we'll get our magnets installed. We've got that loosened up. Go ahead and slide our connector onto the post. Make sure that's nice and secure. And we'll go ahead and tighten that right back down. All right. So now we're going to take our rear door magnet. That'll be the one that is connected directly with the ground side connector. We're going to pass that through behind this panel. Make sure that gets all the way through. Then along with our front door magnet, we're also going to have our bullet connector that's going to connect with our brown signal wire. So we'll go ahead and grab our brown wire, make that connection. And this is going to be up at our door here. So we'll tuck that under our panel. Tuck our excess wiring back. Now what we're going to have to do is pull this weather stripping up and out a little bit. So that's simply going to pop right off like so. You don't need to take much out, just enough to get the magnet through. You don't want any excess wiring sitting in the weather stripping. So we'll make sure that gets through. And we'll go ahead and push our weather strip right back into place. And we're going to keep our magnets pretty low. I'm going to go ahead and remove this adhesive cover here, as well as on the magnet itself. We're going to run that right up into our door pocket here. And we can go ahead and do the same thing for the rear door, and that's going to come up on the front side of it. So now that we have all of this in place, we can go ahead and reinstall all of our panels. So we'll start with our seatbelt one here. You just want to make sure those click back into their clips. Make sure this goes under the weather stripping. We can reinstall our kick panels. Fold our floor mat back over. Then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our front kick panels. Go ahead and reinstall our seat panel. We can move our seat back. Reinstall our front panels. That goes under this one. We need to save this one for last. So now in order to activate these switches, we're gonna go ahead and need to install our magnets on our door part here. This is gonna tell our setup whether the door is open or closed and have the steps come down or retract. So we'll grab our magnet here, remove the cover off the adhesive backing. And what we're gonna do is pretty much eyeball that, where it's gonna go on the inner part of the door here. And we're gonna go ahead, and you don't want to press down immediately, you just want to lightly tack it into place. Go ahead and make sure that lines up and the door closes. That looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and press down on that in order to set that in place. Then we can go ahead and repeat the process for all the other doors on the opposite side of the switches. Now once you have everything done on your doors, you can go ahead and repeat the same process on the other side for your switches and everything. Then we'll go ahead and throw the truck up on the lift because it's going to be easier to show you how to run your wires underneath and across the vehicle, as well as getting everything back into the driver's side, getting your switch installed and getting the boards on. Alrighty guys, so now we've got the truck up on the lift to easier show you how we're going to do things underneath the vehicle. So we're going to start by installing our motor brackets here. So we're going to go to our passenger side, grab our 2 provided 10mm flange bolts, and go ahead and bolt each motor on, as well as our controller. So the first one's going to go on the front mounting point, and the back one's go on the rearmost mounting point, then we'll install our controller. So we'll go ahead and get our motor bracket in place. Get our bolts installed. It is a bit of a tight fit up here. Get this one started. We'll get our bottom mounting bolt on. Now we'll go ahead and tighten these down with our 10mm socket on our ratchet, starting with our bottom one. Then we'll add in a small extension. Get our back bolt tightened. Then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our rear bracket. Now this one's going to go back here. Now we can go ahead and install our controller. So we'll grab 2 more of our 10mm flange bolts and go ahead to our forward middle mounting point here. Get our hardware on. Then we'll go ahead and tighten these down. So now we can go ahead and get our board installed onto our brackets. So we're going to slide this up over here just to get it placed for now. All right. Now it has these threaded little keyways at the bottom here that are in these slots, so we're going to line that up with our brackets. Also line it up front to back on the truck where we want it, just to make things a little easier. All right. So now we'll go ahead and get this set onto our brackets. Then we'll grab our provided Allen bolts. Go ahead and get these started. They may have to fiddle with it a little bit to get these brackets in line, that's okay. Now we'll do the same thing for the rear bracket and get it set in place, and we'll go ahead and tighten it down. So now we'll go ahead and tighten these down with our 5mm Allen socket on our ratchet. So now, minus the control box, you can go ahead and repeat all these steps we just did for this side on the other side. So now we can go ahead and begin plugging in everything on this side. So we'll start with our control box, which is this cluster of plugs here. So we have a smaller flat connector, a larger flat connector, and then our two little snap-in connectors that we'll go ahead and need to install. So start with our smaller one, snap that right into place, followed by our larger one. Make sure that fully seats, and then we're going to go black to black and red to red on our small connectors here. They do have a little dowel that lines up. There are arrows on the outside as indicators. Alright. Now on this side as well, we have our front right motor and our rear right motor harness, so we'll go ahead and get those plugged in. They also have the small lights for our LED lights that we'll be installing shortly. So now we'll go ahead and grab the connector on the top of our motor here, and we're going to go ahead and plug in our harness to that. Again, just snap that into place. And this is going to be for our LED light for our accent lights. We'll go ahead and do the same thing for our rear right motor, and then we'll come in and put our LED lights on while we're down here. So now we can go ahead and install our little LED puddle accent lights here. So we'll remove the adhesive backing cover. We'll go ahead and get this plugged into our small connector here. Just line our arrows up and pop that on. And we're going to stick these right at the front of our pinch weld here, right behind our motor, and our rear one's going to go right in front of our motor. Now we can do the same thing for our other one. All right. So your kit comes with many zip ties in order to start securing your harness up and out of the way, which we're going to do now. Now the convenient part of this side here is we do have one of our main harnesses here running along the frame of our vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and just secure our harness to that, as it already has clips and it's nice and secure up out of the way. Now you want this to be pretty tight, but you don't want it to be too tight, as it could overstretch. Now for this, we're going to push our connectors up kind of to the side here. And basically all of this excess harness can get secured up out of the way. So now once we get to here, we'll again bundle this. We can also tuck this excess up out of the way. So now our front and rear left motor connectors, as well as our white signal wire and our on-off switch wire, are the only things we'll need to run across here. So what we're going to do is actually use this cross member of our subframe here, this little brace. It actually has a nice opening where we can go either in or directly underneath, or even to the side of it. Now you can also choose this farther back one, but this one is pretty convenient, and it's going to keep everything out of the way of any exhaust parts. You actually have a harness running along the back here, so we'll just go ahead and piggyback off that and make things easy. So now we'll start with our motor connectors. So we're going to run this right above this little skid plate here. It's very easy to access. Then there's a wide open slot you can go right over the frame of the vehicle with. And that'll drop everything down really nicely. In here. So now once you have those over, we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our signal and switch wire. Bring this over. You want to make sure you maintain enough slack here to keep it out of the way of your front drive shaft if you have a four-wheel drive. That's really all you need to worry about. We're going to keep this tucked off to the side here. Now you'll notice, aside from a little bit right here, this is the lowest point under your vehicle, so you won't have to worry about anything scraping if we keep it up to the side and on this harness. So it's very safe, very secure, and out of the way. Right. Again, we'll take this over our frame. We're going to send these towards the front of our vehicle. Now again, we'll use our supplied zip ties to secure our wiring out of the way. Again, you have a harness running across the back here, so just piggyback right off of that. Everything will be nice and secure, tucked in. Now what you want to do once you have all your zip ties and your wiring ran is go ahead and grab a pair of angle cutters, and you want to snip off all the excess of your zip ties. This cleans up the look and prevents anything from hitting anything. Make sure that's all good. So we'll go around and do that for all of our zip ties that we installed. So now as we come to the other side, we're going to find the same grommet that we had on our passenger side. This is the one we're going to run our white signal wire and our switch wire up through. So we'll go ahead back into the cab of the vehicle, get our carpet pulled up a little bit just so we can access that, and then we'll go ahead and pop these through, and we'll plug in our switch as well as our other side. So now we can go ahead and pop these panels out and get under our carpet so we can access that grommet and bring our wires up through. Seat one, followed by our sill panel here. Go ahead, pull that grommet out. It's a little harder to see because we have this little retainer here for our carpet. And we'll go ahead, feed our wiring up through. We have our switch wire here and our signal wire. So now we can go ahead and grab our switch. We're going to get that plugged in here. Make sure nothing's in the way. Plug that in. Then to mount it, just has this adhesive backing. Go ahead and pull the cover off that. Just for demonstration purposes, we're going to put ours right by our parking brake switch here. Now we're going to hit that to the off position. We can tuck our wiring in back here behind our carpet. So now we have our switch plugged in. We've got our wiring tucked back here up by our carpet. We're just going to go ahead and throw our switch in a discreet little spot here. Now you can feel free to mount this wherever you want. We're just going to put ours here, and we can tuck all our excess wiring back in. It's nice and secure up out of the way. We have it in the off position. So then your signal wire that we push through is going to be going together the exact same way as we showed you on the other side. So that'll plug into your magnet sensors for your doors. And once you've got your ground and everything, just like the other side, you can go ahead and button that up and we'll reinstall the panels. So now once you've got everything hooked up and everything connected, we can go ahead and come back to our engine bay and install our fuses back into the fuse holders. Let's start with our positive one here, followed by our negative. Cover those up. And then we'll go ahead back to our switch and turn that to the on position. So now we'll go ahead and flip our switch to the on position. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Body Armor 4x4 e-Power electric running board steps for your 19 to 24 Silverado and Sierra 1500 crew cab. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Sierra, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.